Hey there, paper geeks and glitter nerds, it's Senne, and this is a birthday card in the color purple. And here are all, at least I should say, it's all the important products for this card, if you want to recreate it. I'm gonna try out some Nuvo mousse of the expanding kind. I bought it a year or something ago, and I never used it, so now it's time. I didn't actually notice when I bought it that it was an expanding mousse. That's the problem with shopping in an actual store. You may actually buy something you didn't intend to. But I was excited to try it out. And the effect is nice, but the color is not me. I expected it to be more vibrant than it was, and that's just, it doesn't fit with my normal color scheme. But the effect is nice, and I might buy some other expanding mousses in the future. Now here you see me taping my die cut panel to my stencil. The card is for my mother, and I wanted something graphical in the background. Just some texture, you know, because that was what this product was supposed to give me. So if I can get into the jar, that is. I'm very particular about getting the entire lid off. I also have this pet peeve, if you will, about Nutella jars. I have to get the entire piece of paper off, otherwise it's just wrong. I can't handle it. But I did it, and here we go with the mousse. I have the heat gun off to the side, warming up, because I want to be able to heat it as fast as possible. Of course I need to clean the stencil before I can heat it. So there's a lot of running around, and I maybe need to implement the bucket of water method that I hear some crafters use, where they have a bucket of soapy water where they can stick the stencil into when they used it, so that they can get on with the project without having to run out and do the cleaning. Now this color is called Misted something. I really hate this word. I know it means purple. But I can't remember how to pronounce it. Maybe I should have googled that before I started this voiceover, but never you mind. Anyone can have this problem. Mostly, of course, it's us foreigners. Of course, I did the whole washing thing off screen, so now I'm ready to heat this up, and I figured the easiest way was to hold it down with the tip of my tweezers in between the squares, diamond shapes, what you want to call them. But actually I didn't have to. It was heavy enough that it would stay on the mat. This is a cutting mat I put a reusable baking sheet on top of once upon a blue moon. I need to change it because it's getting quite dirty. But you know, if you can skip it today, then maybe tomorrow, and someday it'll happen. And I did like the dimension. It was kind of funny, but some of the patches lifted off of the paper. That was not so very good. Now I wanted this stamping Bella lady on my card. I really like her. I'm just terrified of coloring her. So I'm only gonna color part of her. I figured that was a good middle way, getting her on the card, but not having to try to color her teeny tiny feet. Yeah, that's maybe just because I'm still a novice at coloring, and I'm struggling with those very thin lines that the Stamping Bella products have. So I cut out this panel with my scalloped rectangles, and then I'm gonna stamp the top of the lady in the rectangle. After a bit of fiddling, I got to a point where I could actually fit the stamp in my Misty, in the place that I wanted it. And I'm testing out the placement because, you know, it's a rubber stamp, you can't really see what you're doing. And I do this with a piece of acetate, and then I cover up the edge, bottom edge of the rectangle, so I don't get anything on the scallop beyond the piercing line. And then I'm gonna stamp her and color her. And like I say, I'm really not the greatest colorist. If you want to learn something like that, you should go watch Sandy Alnock or something, because they have so much more knowledge about what to do. And my color combinations for this card are horrendous. I know. At least everything is purple. But I couldn't match this really grayish dark purple with the markers I have. I don't know if it's my markers that are wrong or just me who don't know how to use them right. But I couldn't color match this, and I ended up with, I think, 3 or 4 different purples on my card. But at least they're all purple. That's all I can say. Enjoyed the coloring. And like you saw earlier, I had a bit of trouble coloring her lips. That was a teeny tiny area, so I corrected it with a white gel pen, and here I took the multi-liner to just tighten or draw back in the lines from her lips. So again, that is some very, very tiny areas. I don't know how people do it with those big markers. I find it easy enough when I use my 6, but I'm not gonna get back into why I'm not using the 6 for cards. If you've been here for a while, you know my opinion on that one, and if not, I will repeat it in the comments if you ask. So here's my good friend that I mostly forget to use. It is the double-sided tape from Docrafts that actually die cuts. Here I go, making the Hurra sentiment from Free Scoops. I really get a lot of mileage out of this sentiment. It's more festive, less formal than congratulations. It's hooray! It's your birthday, you know? I really like that. So, I'm glad I bought this one. And the font is very nice, also. Probably said it before. I'll say that one again. Now, the Hurra was kind of disappearing on this very basic background, and since the Hurra has the same color as the bottom cardstock, of course it falls right into it, even though I made dimension out of it by doing 3 die cuts on top of each other. But Vellum fixes just about anything when it comes to this problem, so I'm just gonna put a strip of Vellum behind it, and it's gonna work great. I'm telling you. now I couldn't help it. My mother has a great sense of humor, and I'm gonna stamp on the inside here a sentiment that will read: the best years of a woman's life is the many years between 29 and 30. Because, as you know, a lot of people seem to be turning 29 for years and years and years. And she did laugh about it when I gave it to her, so that's great. And again, I am working with more than one purple color, since my range is very limited in inks. This one is a Lawn Fawn one, it's called Sugar Plum. And then I want to stamp the Bella, the whole of her, in the background, so I don't need to write as long a message as maybe I should. I'm just very bad at those messages inside the cards. But I'm gonna stamp her with some distress inks in shaded lilac. I didn't want to use any of the other purples I had. They would be too close to the text, and then you wouldn't be able to read it, and then I'd be in trouble, you know. So more purple shades. This one was one red purple and the other blue purple, and it all worked out, I think. I didn't like it a lot in the beginning, but then I kind of warmed to it, especially making this video, because it doesn't look as bad on video as it did in my head while it was laying on the shelf and I was annoyed about all the purples. So, but my mom liked the card, and that's the important thing, you know. That's why I just about always make a card specifically for the recipient, because I want them to know I spent time thinking about them, making something that I hope they would enjoy. I don't really make that many just because I want to craft cards anymore. I often have someone in mind when making it, that or maybe a technique that I want to try out. When you're trying out techniques, sometimes it's easier to not have anything specific in mind, just trying out things. And here's another purple color. It's Glimmer Drops from Nuvo, and it'll be the main embellishment of this card. Yeah, but that's actually also be the end of the card, and you'll get a close-up in a second. And well, then I hope to see you again next week. And I am also hoping for you to have a good day, evening or night.